Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Effects Loop. I'm Brother Diaz, and with me is Brother
Amen.
Scott, and we're keeping you in the loop of the guitar community. This episode is brought to you by String Joy. When you got the joy of the Lord, you need to have this. Well, no, you got to have strings of joy. So check out String Joy. You go to stringjoy.com, and for a love offering, all you have to do is check out, put your love offering in, and they'll send you strings. They've set how much of a love offering you have to send, so I don't think there's a haggle room on there. But all right, Brother Scott, let's bring it down.
Okay,
Scott,
sorry.
stop. Okay.
Sorry, I get kind of. I turn on shimmer reverb, and next thing I know, like 2 hours has gone by.
Yeah, are you Pentecostal? that's what we do. All right, so episode 56, also known as Hamiltons of Fun, because Mr. Scott Hamilton is back with us on this episode.
Hey, everybody.
So welcome back, Scott. It's like whenever the kid goes to another class and they walk by and we see him and we wave, but this time he actually got to come into the class and tell us how everything's been going. So Scott, how's everything been going, buddy?
Oh, goodness, I haven't rested in forever. It's been a busy season, but it's fun to be here again, man.
Yeah. So this is gonna take up like let's say 3/4 of the episode. Scott, what's new on your gear journey?
Gosh. So
I've got the list in front of me, and like even I'm like, what is going on?
That's
it's
just
a long
what's
one,
on my
it's a lot of
board.
good stuff. Oh my gosh. Like I know I buy a lot of stuff, but I think it's pretty funny that you well, I guess I've had quite a bit of stuff change since you've been gone. I don't know. That's, man, Kelly Clarkson. I don't care who you are. If that song comes on and you're not getting pumped, get out.
Get out.
All right, so we gotta focus.
you know, there's no prayer of that. Now that like I'm not trying to run a show, there's no way I'm going to be focused on any of this.
Yeah. Well, no, but like the funny thing is because Jason Fuzzmonger, one of our patrons, was like, he's like, I finished the episode and geez, you seem a lot more focused with the guitar in your hands. I've got a guitar right now, so it's actually pretty funny that I'm telling Scott to focus. So maybe this is what it takes. It's a guitar in my hands. If I could take a guitar to work, could you imagine how many whoppers we could sling out of that store?
Can you imagine how disgusting that guitar would be?
Oh, it makes me sad now. Let's not do that. I'm happy with my work performance right now.
Good. Glad you're happy with your work performance.
My boss isn't, but I'm sure okay with it.
Yeah, so what's new with me? Allegedly, I have a pedal in the mail today. You've already gotten yours because we bought the same pedal.
Yeah, you posted it, and I was like, you know what? That looks... I've never bought this from this company before.
This is your first love pedal? Oh, man, you're missing out.
Well, they seem really cool, but for some reason they're just not on my radar.
Because they don't advertise at all.
But I think what it is because I know that one of the pedals I want is going to be $50 one weekend, but anytime that pedal comes up, I don't have the $50 that weekend. I'm gonna have to put like a $50 savings account opened up, like where it's got $60 enough to cover shipping and the pedal, and that's it.
Well, like the things they sell. So this is the Love pedal, like I don't know, quarterly, every other month. I mean, it's fairly frequent. They do kind of a one-off sale. So sometimes it's blems, sometimes it's I want to make this tweak to the circuit and see how it was. So I made 20 of them.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of there's like rarities, but it seems like there's a few on his main line that get on that list quite a bit.
Yeah, like if you're eyeing a Zen Drive or like a Kalamazoo.
Yeah. Well, they had the Zen Drives for I think $100 or something, under 100, one or the other. Whenever they had we got the Mark III. What is it called?
It's a tone bender fuzz. Let's just be honest with it.
Yeah, so it's a tone bender fuzz. This one was called the So Naked 50 Bones.
Yeah, because he does ones that aren't
'Cause it
painted.
has-
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this graphic supposed to be on the front?
I do not know. I don't have mine
It looks
yet,
like a
'cause
donut,
I get my mail really late in the evening.
or it looks like a butt. I can't tell. It says, I think it says holes, but that honestly, could that be a donut hole? There could be another type of hole that I don't want to know about. What is? I honestly have no idea what this is. So yeah, so it's a tone bender fuzz. It's pretty cool. I got to play with it a little bit before the episode.
Are you liking it?
Yeah, it's got right here. So I guess we'll go ahead and do this because I've actually got mine hooked up. So this is the fuzz. This is my clean sound. Yeah, I'm gonna take some of that delay off. And this is the fuzz. It's kind of weird. I don't know what this left knob does. I can't tell if it's volume or tone. It sounds like it's like a mixture of both. Because if I turn it all the way down,
It could be
turns
bias.
off. But it might be
Is
a bias.
it crunchy when you move it?
Yeah, that's me moving it.
Okay.
No,
Usually-
it's not crunchy.
Usually
It's not
it sounds like
a
you're scraping
like a
something when you move a bias knob.
kind of like a super
Yeah.
hard on. Yeah, no, it doesn't do that. But this is it. I'm gonna put all the knobs at noon and. So it's got a really good
Nice.
sound. I'm gonna mess with this left knob. So this is all the way down, or not all the way down, but this is. I think I'll hit a chord and move it, and you tell me. That's all the way to the left. It actually
It's
turns.
definitely
It off.
got some tonality changes. I just have no idea what it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, it did. It was this thing was so naked it didn't come with a manual.
Oh yeah, none of his stuff
So-
comes with a manual. It's like here's a box with maybe a sticker on it.
Well, the cool thing, it's got a 9-volt battery in it. I didn't even plug. I was like, man, I hope it's got a 9-volt because everyone knows fuzzes are better with 9-volt batteries. But here, let's turn the fuzz all the way up because everyone
Most
wants
of the
to hear
9
that.
volts in my house are removed from pedals. I get them.
Yeah, if I'm ever looking for a 9-volt, I start not tearing up, but like going through pedals and seeing if it like
Yeah.
maybe came with
Yeah,
one
because I just
didn't
don't
know
want
about.
it exploding in the pedal. So I take it out and then I
Yeah.
tape off the battery terminal. That sounds good.
So that it has a really good sound to it. I like it. The one thing I do like about it is that it cleans up pretty well with the volume knob. That's with my volume knob about halfway down and the gain set about 2 o'clock. So that's like almost you could church
Yeah.
that.
Because it's closer to overdrive territory in most of its range. I dig.
So yeah, has a really good sound, that's just me rolling the volume knob. So I actually this is like a great pedal that could be used all the time. So, but yeah, that was cool to check out. We got to make it down this list.
Yeah, so this Saturday I was over at the Alchemy Audio Show here in Chicago. It wasn't the best guitar show on earth, but there were some cool things there. Whale Hazard was there. I got to finally check out some of his guitars. Andy was there. Then the other cool one was, so I was going by, and there was this group called Ion Effects, which I had to look up how to pronounce it correctly because it's spelled AION. And they're kind of, basically he's taking a run at like the build your own pedal crowd. Like,
Yeah, well, the one thing I think, did you send me a picture of it? Or
I
did
sent you
happen
the
to
link
see it?
to the site.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
All right. So looking at them, the cool thing about these kits is it beats the build your own clone stuff because it's got graphics.
Yeah,
on
and
it.
it's pre-drilled too,
And you
which
get
is
a lot of
really
these-
handy because that's like the hardest thing to do right when you're at home.
This is really cool. This is more like this seems like something that would be more for someone like me who isn't super great with like the build your own clone stuff, but it takes away some of the probably what I consider the most frustrating parts of that would be with the build, like drilling, labeling stuff. Like that's one thing I hate about clones that are like build your own clones is there's no graphics, there's no labeling. These seem really cool.
Yeah, so I mean, he's doing all real straightforward stuff. It's nothing. It's not like, oh, here's the new circuit. The one I bought was an 808 clone with.
Okay, so you actually bought it.
Yeah, I bought the
didn't know you-
Stratus. They were pretty cheap for the show too, so they were less than the site has them listed right now. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll give them a try, figure it out. Because what's also cool is if you're an electronics nerd, his PCB layouts are really good. Like, just the internals won't look like a total mess the way like a build your own clone would probably be, because like the wires are thought out, your jacks are in a specific location, like all those kind of things that like where things often go really haywire. This is very straightforward. His manuals are fantastic. So I'm happy that I'm coming on to give this guy a shout, because what he's doing is pretty cool. And I think once people start doing these, they're going to like them. And then you go to their site and he's got like 30 PCBs available to buy that all fit this form factor, all fit his enclosure. So you want to build, goodness, there's tons of Love Pedal. There's tons of the classic circuits. I think there was a Timmy on there. There's a clone, what have you, in like $80, you've got a pedal. So it's a bargain in my eyes, because I was comparing it to the JHS ones that they did with StewMac. Did you ever look at those? It was
Oh wait, the JHS. Yeah, they did the All American, the Mini Bomb, I think, or something. Yeah, I remember seeing those. Here's my. Wait, where are these? I'm looking at pictures. Did yours come with graphics already on it? Okay, because there's people who are building them and doing their own graphics and stuff. So I was like slightly confused. Because people you can rate and give like a score to these clones that people are building and putting on there.
So the interesting part is it's not just, okay, I'm going to build a better kit than build your own clone. I can't remember the name of the original site, which looks really bad on me, I realize. But he's trying to get away from the forum look and feel where you're like wading through menus and trying to decipher all this stuff, and also trying to pull the whole community over to him. Like, there's a lot of smart things happening behind the scene here of a really complete product where it's like, all right, so here's the 8 different mods you can do with this kit, depending on which one you want to do.
Wait, he's got an HM2 kit. I
was
crazy.
looking at that one. I was debating between that and the 808, but since I don't have a Tube Screamer, I figured that would be something that I'd actually use the pedal afterwards. So that's why
this looks really cool. I might end up buying one at some point. I want to do I'd probably do a Blues Breaker just because that's my favorite circuit. The Cerulean.
get to see if you like that more than your Dually.
Yeah, that would actually. That's like my circuit. I love to find out which one's great.
Yeah, so that's sort of like what's recent with me. Then there's the whole what have I sold and what have I flipped game, which I'll just run through real quick. I got rid of my Hungry Robot Monastery. It sounds good. I just got it was only so it has a tremolo on it. So it's an octave, but it flutters, so it always sounds like an organ. And it's cool, but
if you don't want that organ effect and you want to do something different.
So I looked at the POG and the TC Sub and Up, and I just went to my pedal shelf and just sold off a bunch of stuff. And so I was just like, all right, I got money. I'll buy both. And I found good deals on both, and I shot them out, and I stuck with the Sub and Up. from TC Electronic. That I'm loving that. And then because I have a tremolo already on my board, I can get that tremoloed octave sound now. So I'm not missing it.
Kind of has that Leslie
Yeah.
feel of like the speaker moving.
Yeah, and there's a tone print that
so
does the same thing too, and I'm just like, but I haven't gotten that far into the tone prints on this guy yet.
Why didn't you look at maybe the Pog 2?
I got the Nano Pog.
Yeah, I think man, you should do the Pog 2.
Yeah, I tried the Micro.
Well, those are like set parameters. Whenever you get into the Pog 2, that's whenever you've got the different settings and it's got sliders and everyone loves sliders.
Yeah, I only had a single spot available on my board, so that was kind of the trying to fit into that spot.
It's funny just how huge your board is, and to imagine like being like needing space.
Dude, this thing barely fits together. It's crazy how crammed it is.
You're the ultimate P-dubs.
I've really become that guy.
Like, you're that guy. And it's funny because whenever you hopped on the Hangout earlier, you're like, wow, your signal's gotten a lot more dry. Like, you're like, because usually I was like tons of delay and heavy reverb. And you're just like, yeah, I've got like 78 pedals on this pedal board.
Yeah.
Which you've always had that pretty full.
Yeah, I mean, I've been swapping through stuff. So like,
Do you still have the DL4
still have the
on
DL4
there?
on there.
That's where like half your board is.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of my board space. And it's kind of funny. I've kind of moved away from using the DL4 for my normal delay. Like now that I've gotten better with Chase Bliss pedals, the tonal recall is becoming more my default delay. And then when I want that tapey sound, then I go to the DL4. But
you could always just get a actual tape delay.
yeah, like you.
They're about the same size. Yeah, that's it. It's funny because I've got a digital amp. And yeah, my delays analog are close to it. I mean,
and then I'm the one using an
the
amp
way.
from the 1960s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's there. I got a Model 001 Fuzz from the Tone Mob, and was that Solid Gold they did that with?
It was Solid Gold Effects. I saw someone selling one. Was it someone from 67?
Yeah, I bought it from I think I bought it from Dilhannick.
Okay, I think there was someone else who was selling one. I can't remember if it was maybe Adam Rohrer or someone.
Yeah.
Adam Rohrer?
Roar. Yeah.
Rohrer?
So I got that. I got rid of my JHS Unicorn, and I got a Native Audio Midnight phaser, which I've been telling you to grab one because I think you'd love it.
I know. I really would. That's one of those companies that just kind of. It's not that they're not on my radar, just like because I don't care, but I don't run across them that much.
Well, I mean, also since he rebranded last year, it's been so there's the Red House stuff, which he stopped using that name, and now he's doing Native Audio. So, but yeah, ever since I met Mike, like a year or two ago. I'm trying to remember how long it was before I met him. But he was at Winter NAMM this year, and we were talking a bit too, and seeing some of his new stuff. I love his pedals. They're like the halfway between going to a full Chase Bliss. So it's you still have a lot of the digital control stuff on an analog effect, like he's doing that thing too, but you don't have the full MIDI and dip switches to overwhelm you. So and there is a way you can get a preset out of his pedals.
Yeah, because isn't there like 4 little buttons up top?
No.
Or is that what pedal am I thinking of that had?
No,
like 4
Mike's
buttons?
is if you hold the buttons when you power on the pedal, you can kick it into different modes.
I swear he's got a pedal that has.
He has a pedal with 4 presets on it for reverbs. Is that the one you're thinking of?
That's what I'm thinking of.
So that's different reverb engines, whereas this is like, you can just have 2 presets on your pedal. So that's really cool. Drive section's been pretty much stable. So is modulation. I added a Chase Bliss Gravitas, which is an amazing tremolo once you dive into all the things. And it's smaller than my other tremolo, so I'm really happy there. I had the Zeppelin Labs Quaverado that I sold. That was a kit build. That was another really good kit build, actually. So another good local firm. I finally got my Chase Bliss Dark World. I think, John, you remember that story of just the craziness of trying to get that pedal.
Was that the one that got like shipped around Chicago?
It was like marked as delivered and then didn't show up for another 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
I was
Oh
so
my
mad
gosh.
at the postal service.
Yeah, because that's you've had problems out of USPS up there.
Yeah. There's two post offices that serve my neighborhood. It's so confusing which one's going where, and
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Really organized, guys. Really good job. And then the last one is I got an Old Blood Noise Endeavors Revere, which is amazing. That is the reverse reverb.
Oh my!
So you were
gosh.
like, I was noodling around with it before we started playing or started recording, and you were just like, what in the world is going on right now?
Yeah, it's like a reverse tape delay or the reverse delay. Like, why don't you show us that one? Because that's
so.
Really
this
cool.
is just just my Klon into a Katana, because your overdrive pedals should always be more expensive than your amps. And then this is with the Revere. Wait, you gotta turn it on. There it is. So it starts with this, where it just kind of does this reverby reverse thing. And you can set this to be normal, and then it has a momentary switch where you can flip directions. So yeah, I can just be kind of laying down something like, and then do a, kind of a sound. I love this thing for just washes.
It like I'm expecting like the Beatles to be in India, like on the Love Guru or something, or what was it? Walk Hard. It has such a weird sound to it. It's awesome though.
Really haunting. Really just cool.
Yeah, there's ghosts in your house now. Congratulations.
I think you heard me flipping through presets on the Dark World, and you're like, Scott, your house is haunted.
Yeah, it was like woo. I was like, what is going? I was like, watch. He had his webcam on, which we never keep our webcams on. He had it on at that point, and I was like looking. I was like, there's gonna be a ghost, or like I need to start recording this in case something happens, and make a lot of money off of it. And like Paranormal Activity, like I don't know, what are they up to? Like 7 or 9
I've
now?
never seen any of them.
Really? Those are actually pretty good movies. Well, some of them are.
I dug The Ring.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good one. The Ring was good.
I don't really do slasher movies.
Saw 1 was good. The rest of them
I don't really
sucked.
consider those slasher movies. I really dug the Saw movies for a while there, because like the storyline got really dark and interesting.
Yeah, okay, the thing I don't like about the Saw movies is it seems like maybe Saw 2 was good.
Oh, like Saw 4 or 5 when we started getting into like the guy's backstory. That was like really good.
Then they got the Jigsaw movie. I want to see
think it's a
that.
reboot. I don't think it's part of the storyline anymore.
Okay.
Not canon.
I want to see the yeah.
This ain't my Star Wars.
Hashtag not my Star Wars. I dig some slasher movies. I'm more of I do like the suspenseful like movies like Seven.
Yeah, again, don't consider that a horror movie, though.
Are we talking horror movies?
I think we were just talking horror movies.
What movie did we
started with Paranormal Activity.
You said The Ring. Is that a horror movie or is that like a thriller?
It's supernatural thriller then.
So, cause it's a thriller. Sorry, I don't know. I wonder if they dedicate an episode to defining what movies are. So, but we're gonna move on because we're getting.
Oh, I also bought a GHS color box.
Oh yeah, that was.
But I don't have it hooked up right now. I'm running a bass through it normally, so I'm trying it instead of a Sans amp.
Did you get any new guitars?
No.
Okay.
I'm still.
Which brings me to my what's new. Oh yeah, brings me to what.
Oh yeah,
my what's new.
Yes. What's new with you?
I'm playing a new guitar. So I picked up this Richie Kotzen signature Telly from Fender. This thing is sweet. It's a made in Japan guitar. Couple things that make it a lot different than your normal telly. This thing has a thick neck. It's like a baseball bat neck.
How do you spell thick?
THICC.
Thick.
That's it. It's like thick. But it's like a Y. It's a deep C. It's different than most tellies I've played, and my other telly that I own.
Did you ever play my John Mayer?
Yes.
Did you? No,
I
you
think it
played. No,
I believe
maybe you played.
No,
I didn't.
My
Parts Caster.
I have played a John Mayer, and those have.
Is it
necks.
similar? Is it thicker?
I'd say it's thicker, and it has a different feel because it's a maple neck that's like almost unfinished. Is what it feels like. It's so close to being unfinished. And honestly, I've never owned a guitar with a neck that's been unfinished. All of my necks have a full finish on them. My other telly had, I guess, a full lacquered finish or whatever. But this thing's pretty sweet, and it has DiMarzio pickups. There's a fat T in the neck, and I think it's a fat T in the neck. I can't remember what it is. And a twang something in the bridge. Jason Fuzzmonger is going to get so mad right now because we were talking about these pickups, and I don't even know their names. I could tell you, but that would just make this actually.
DiMarzio is one of those brands
relevant.
where it's like, I know they're premium, but I just don't think of them that way because they've just been around forever.
The thing about DiMarzio pickups is because when I think DiMarzio, I think like metal.
Ace Frehley.
Or I completely think like Joe Satriani. So it's the Chopper T and I can't remember.
They were the boutique people in the 80s is kind of how I think of them. Whereas like Seymour Duncan has kind of transcended that into becoming kind of much more mainstream in my opinion. Is that a fair comparison?
I say Seymour Duncan's more like the dad pickups. I don't know why. You know what kills me about Seymour Duncan pickups is that logo is like still the same, and I feel like
the fun thing about pickups is they don't usually have logos on them.
No, I'm talking about on the box. I happened to see him at Guitar Center the other day.
The Antiquities have very dated packaging, but that's part of the idea.
Even no. Even just their regular plastic case. So it's got a Chopper T and a Twang King pickup in this, Jason. But here I'm going to play it actually a little bit because Jason actually was wondering if it got that twanginess with these pickups. So this is the bridge pickup. I don't know that.
That's
riff.
not so
see
pretty,
if I can
woman.
fake it.
It
This
gets
thing actually
it gets pretty shrill.
to
be honest with you.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll turn the gain down.
And also
a little
you
bit.
have no tone knob, right?
I don't have a tone knob, so it actually has a switcher. You can hear that click because it's a telly and single coils, and it changes between series and parallel on the pickups. So that's in the middle pickup, or the middle spot, and this is the other setting. I don't know which one's which. I haven't figured it out yet. A little Tom Petty for you. And then let's switch it back one more time and do the same riff. So that gives you the two different settings. And then this is the neck pickup. got a cool sound, and I didn't even finish that John Mayer riff. I was gonna see how mad I can make someone. So finish the riff. But yeah, this is my new telly. It sounds
That's
pretty
really
nice.
Good. It looks amazing too.
That's the cool thing. Is it really has this nice burst. I can't remember exactly what color. It's kind of like a honey burst.
It's like halfway between a honey and like a tobacco because it's a little darker than a honey burst.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. So it's got a really nice, and it's bound, which is something I love on Fender guitars. On Telecasters. I love a binding on it. And then it has one thing that I thought I would never have, and that's a belly cut.
Wait, it's
on a
bound and
Telecaster.
has a belly cut? Okay.
Yeah, it's not double bound. It's only bound on the top, or on the face, and it does have a belly cut, and it sounds phenomenal. I'm gonna make sure I don't do anything to try to modify this guitar and mess it up. I have this recorded.
So where did this guitar come from? Because you were doing the parts caster thing last I talked to you.
Yeah, American Musical Supply, buddy. So got that 12 payment plan, which I know is gonna make you knew the answer. Why'd you ask?
Oh, I thought I was going to see if you sold something. I know you were like on the Firebird. Like you were like, I could take it or leave it. You're like, you like it, but it's like it's not an essential guitar for you since you already have the SG.
I've got the SG. It is a non-essential guitar, but it's got a couple things. I love a really nice Pelham blue. So it's got one of my favorite finishes, and I really do love the look of the guitar, and it plays great too. I think that guitar is kind of going to be waiting for whenever I play somewhere besides church. I think that's the thing. It doesn't church well.
It's a little loud.
No.
Aesthetically.
It's a little showy. It's, are we here to praise the Lord, or are we here to praise the guitar, Jonathan? That was not a discussion that I've had before. But let's see. Let's move on. Let's do some gear news. Let's see. Oh, this is like the first thing. It's the greatest thing ever.
Make your guitar sound like absolute garbage.
With Metaverse Electronics, air trash. Listen, Metaverse, I can sound like garbage all on my own. I don't need to pay $200 to sound like garbage. Just trust me. Is this okay? So this is a really weird fuzz. It sounds like someone took a fuzz and bent the circuit to borderline unusable.
But it doesn't sound like a Devi Ever fuzz at the same time. Because that's kind of the Devi Ever thing.
I'm sure you'll actually get this if you order it, though. So I'm sorry. That was I
don't
know.
Like Devi Ever was kind of out of the business before I was like, it was on my radar. So
yeah, they were I think really my ears perked up to Devi Ever was right towards the end of the show. So I can't really. I can't say anything about it.
But I know circuit bending was part of that mantra for making a lot of those fuzzes.
So go and listen to this, and I think the best way to describe this pedal is it is a toy. This is really a toy pedal. It's not one that I could see being usable in a live setting.
It's your tone for a cool solo. That's what it is.
I wouldn't say cool. I'll say interesting solo. It's enough to make you go, huh, what's that?
Do you know that song? I just started listening to it again like yesterday. Mumford sang on it, and it's a Bob Dylan song, Going Back to Kansas City. Were you aware of that album?
No.
They found a bunch of I think it was called The New Basement Tapes was the name of the band. If not, you need to go listen to this. Anyway, a bunch of people found a bunch of Bob Dylan songs that were never recorded, and they got an all-star band to put it together, and the solo has this kind of a guitar sound when Johnny Depp was playing guitar on that.
He's not dead.
I know. That
sounds like something you do if someone died.
It does, doesn't it?
they found some hidden like if this was if you change the name from Bob Dylan to Kurt Cobain, became more interesting because he's dead, and you're like, oh man, we'll never get anything from him again. We got to take this, and Bob Dylan's probably over here like, oh, I'm still making music, man.
Oh, speaking of killing Kurt Cobain's legacy,
I don't know why you sound like John Lennon, but oh wait, hold on. You've got my attention.
My favorite April Fool's Day joke was the Billy Corgan buys the rights to Nirvana and touring as the lead singer.
That was a great.
It was so
one.
good because people sent it to me being like, "Oh my gosh, is this real?" And I'm like, "What day is it, dude?"
Okay, I don't. The best thing that's happened to me in the past, probably the past 30 years of my life, was, which I'm 30 years old, is the fact that someone posted the what it would be like if Billy Corgan rode on a roller coaster.
It was so good.
The best part of all of this is that I keep watching it and Jess is getting mad. Like, Billy Corgan's driving a wedge in my marriage. He said, all she hears is this. That's all she hears every hour of the day, and all I hear is her yell, "Are you watching it again?" So thank you, Billy Corgan, for ruining my marriage. I didn't need any help, but here you were.
So good.
All right, so let's move on to the next thing. Dimebag. All right, so IK Multimedias. These are the guys who do, Amplitude, iRig, that stuff. They came out with Dimebag Darrell Cowboys from Hell collection. And Scott, I mostly picked this because you're the guy who uses, I know this is different than what you use, but you use a lot of like digital amp stuff, like with your PRS and all that.
Yeah, no thanks.
Can we listen?
Dimebag is not my thing.
If you've got to play something like this, you got to do like a.
Okay, so yeah, so like this.
That's it.
No? Okay, no.
or like this. I hope that Jason's impressed that I actually know some Pantera riffs. I did this for Jason.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Yeah, it's cool.
So
I wonder how much
I
it's
like
cost.
these ideas of like, oh, cool. Here's the pedals and the amp, kind of all in one. The packaging's cool.
Yeah,
I don't have a great track record with Amplitude. Yeah, I tried it because I have an iRig, because I use it for work to run microphones in my phone to like record things, and like as an interface, it's fine, but when I got into Amplitude, I could not get anything to sound good with the stock stuff. And then it's like, oh, cool. Yeah, spend another $100 here, there, and all that kind of stuff. So it was just like, it was unsatisfying. And so I didn't want to shell out any money for something, you can't sell back or try out. So, I mean, this is only 20 pounds, I think is what the all in.
That's really heavy.
Yeah. That's a really heavy
metal.
phone. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. But yeah,
how much is 20 pounds? Is that like
it's okay. Depends what British Parliament decides to vote on in the next week. What happens to the pound? But yeah.
Oh, Brexit, keeping it relevant. Not my Brexit.
I don't know. The pound took a real dive when it first happened. I don't know how much it's recovered because I don't really track currencies.
1999 and is that pounds or euros? Are you sure that's
that is euro. You're right. Oh wait.
Yeah,
It's dollar/euro.
That's
Okay, it's $20.
So I guess it's gonna be $19.99 either. Well, yeah, because even the switch over is $22.51. So it's actually cheaper to buy it in American.
Yeah.
I think this would be I think this is a really cool thing, because that's like with the Kemper and some of these other modeling scenarios, people buy presets, and like I can buy performances or amps, and that's like they're doing this with certain artists. Like Stu G is working with Tone Junkies right now to make a whole amp pack and effects and all this cool stuff.
Yeah, that
I think
fits that market.
It'd be really cool.
I mean, it's about catering to the right market. I think people don't really want to sound like Dimebag live unless they're doing covers.
I think, but I do think that there's like kids at home who don't play with an amp, but just play with their iPad, or they like bring their iPad with them. Like, you know, those kids that go there, it's like the family reunion. They're like, I don't want to hang out with you, cousin Susan. I want to hang in here and play with my Dimebag Darrell guitar with my iPad. And now he can sound like Dimebag Darrell would sound like if he didn't want to go to his family reunion.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure parents everywhere are loving this. Because
they're like, I don't have to listen to that racket.
I remember when I bought my first electric guitar, my parents bought me a pair of headphones. That was a very relevant thing.
I was all good because mine could be turned up and down, and my brother is a drummer, so they're like, and man, you know how mad it made me that like if we were going somewhere and I was playing guitar, and like at that point I didn't know anything about anything, so I just had a guitar and an amp, and I just unloaded my guitar and my amp, and he's like, can you help me with these 17 floor toms? I'm like, dude, who are you, Neil Peart? Let's go. Leave half of them.
Yeah, anytime I complain about carrying my board upstairs, I just got to remember I'm not a drummer or a bass player.
Yeah, but the thing that sucks about that is most venues have like a kit, and the drummers just bring their snare.
Yeah, if you only do breakables, yeah. You bring your cymbals and your snare. Like
cymbals and snare, and that's still probably more than I'd have to carry. I could just carry my Kemper and remote if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Not for you, Scott.
My church is
your amp
talking
was a
about
2x12,
buying
right?
Kemper, so we'll see.
An elevator. If you have to go upstairs.
Here's
with
the annoying thing about my church. To get to the elevator, you have to go through the parking lot. The parking lot is closed at 6 a.m. when I show up for church until about 9 a.m. when it opens for church. So the musicians don't get to use the elevator. Unless like I go in the building, out into the parking garage, and back out to my car and hold a door open.
Are you at a mobile church?
No, we have a building. It's this is what life is like when you live in the city. You sometimes have to buy buildings and retrofit them. So my church bought a warehouse. So the entire bottom floor is indoor parking, and then the second floor is like the classrooms and like the cafe and those kind of things. Then the third floor is offices and the sanctuary.
Dude, I'm from the South. I'm in a storefront church.
We have those out here too. But
stop trying to relate to us, Scott.
Well, I was going to say the storefront churches are in the not great neighborhoods of Chicago, but they exist too.
Hey, every neighborhood is a not great neighborhood in Tennessee, so you're all set. I'm just kidding. I love Tennessee. I'm looking around for like someone to come out with a shotgun. Take it back.
Go back to Florida.
Come on. Go back to Florida where you came from, you hippie. What?
Yeah, I was going to say that's big talk from somebody from Florida crapping on Tennessee.
Shh. Hey, I've lived 1/3 of my life in Tennessee, so consecutively as well. So I think I'm pretty well set. I'm a Tennessean now.
Can I just say go back to the Dimebag thing? I didn't know he used the JC120.
Yeah. No, all right. So, all right. Back to Diaz playing. So, like, he did some clean stuff that was actually, was like at the beginning of Cemetery Gates was like, so it's not going to sound like him, but if I could play it right. So like that stuff, he ran JC120 as his clean sound. So I mean, he didn't play distortion all the time. It was just like 99% of the time. I think that's the only song he might have played clean on. It
was like there's a certain era of the JC120 where just like you find out so many people used it. I remember Wes Borland had one for a while, because everyone should be modeling their tone after Limp Bizkit.
Hey, listen, hold on. I'm going to tell you something. No. Don't knock Limp Bizkit.
I know what's his rig. That's how much I liked Limp Bizkit. Okay.
No. But I'm just saying, if you listen to some like older Incubus, if you were to take out, oh my gosh,
Brandon
I
Boyd.
just forgot his name. Brandon Boyd, thank you. And put in Fred Durst. I can remember his name. That looks great. And put in Fred Durst. They sound exactly the same. I think I was listening to what song was it? Patience. They sound like you could just swap.
Well, it's
because Incubus got that heavy
humbucker into a Mesa dual rack era too.
Yeah, and but it's really.
And before everyone starts correcting me that Mike Eisinger didn't use that Make Yourself era, he used the dual rack. Check me on that one. He went down to the Tremover combos after that, but he used.
What were the cream amps?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, he had those cream combos for
Mesa Boogie Tremoverbs. Yep, those, and because that was towards he had those whenever they did Morning View sessions.
Yeah, I know what amps he used on multiple albums, but I can't remember the password to my bank.
Listen, I can't remember the password to any of the FX Loop stuff. So Chris just gets random messages. What's the password to this? What's the password to this? That's like our PayPal. I have no clue what the password is. I think that's a good thing. We should probably leave it that way. But even if I wanted to, I think Chris probably gets emails randomly of like, "Did you forget your password?" And it's like, dang it.
I remember
when
we first set up, he had 2-factor on for all of us, and like none of us could log in because we had to be like coordinated with him at his phone.
Chris, then I think one day we were like doing pre-ep and we're like, just look at your phone and acknowledge us. All right, so let's keep moving on. The Stompe, which lets you play drums by mounting your phone to your foot.
Okay, I thought this already existed in form of like an app.
They have tambourines. I
remember a cowbell one.
Shoes.
Like when the iPhone first came out, there was a more cowbell app or something like that.
Oh my gosh. But that was probably one of the really bad ones, like kind of like the whip one, where you tried to do the whip and it only worked like half the time.
But that's also back when like the iPhone was this magical thing that we are all blessed to be around, versus now we like expect so much more out of our phones.
Dude, I had Verizon. So, like, I didn't get the iPhone right away. I had to deal with the BlackBerry Storm, and that sucked. Like, and I tried to, so I had a BlackBerry Curve that, 8330, and then I moved. I was like, oh, yeah, well, this is so much better. And people are like, oh, I got an iPhone. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm going to get the BlackBerry Storm 2, and you have to click in the screen so it feels more realistic. And it sucked.
I still miss my Motorola Razr.
Dude, that was like the phone. Do you remember when the Crazer came out? I had a Crazer. I broke a Crazer.
Everyone who had one broke
in half.
I mean,
no, I broke it in half. I had a fit of rage and snapped it.
I remember in college that was a thing. Like people just get drunk and then they just throw their phone against the wall because phones were like $30. That went away.
Yeah, now they're like, everyone's like, now I've got 17 cases, I've got bulletproof glass, and it still breaks.
I've never broken a screen on a smartphone yet after 11 years of having one now.
Every time I buy a phone, they're like, do you want insurance? I'm like, hell yeah, I want insurance. Because and then they changed the insurance because it used to be insurance wouldn't do it if it was the screen was cracked. So I would just destroy my phone. I'm like, no, it's not cosmetic. It just doesn't work anymore. And then they changed it, and finally trade it in. Now I've got with US Cellular, they've got it where I've got like Apple Care for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I
or
have that through
something.
T-Mobile. It's like built into my plan now.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the greatest thing ever. But we're going to get back onto the fact that now you can kick your phone up and down and sound like a drum and not have to worry about it because you've got insurance. This
includes a strap.
and
all
you
it
know
is.
what? Here's the thing that makes me like upset. The pause or like the frame for the video. So it's a user review. It's recorded in this guy's bedroom, and he's wearing a bandana.
Oh yeah. Well, okay.
No,
also
dude.
think this already exists for a much more
Okay.
nefarious use. You can look that word up later.
Okay, because I wasn't gonna look. It
I
up
just
right
remember
now.
like there was like it was Law and Order or one of those shows. There was some dude being a creep
Mm-hmm.
by like putting a mirror on his foot and then like recording it and like walking behind girls wearing skirts. That's what
Okay,
I
but
think this is
I don't-
from. I think someone did this to their phone with like the selfie recorder, and then they were like, "All right, cool. We'll add a tambourine app to it." I know it got dark.
Yeah, dude. Like, you know it's bad when Diaz is like left
Yeah, but it's
speechless.
just this. I don't know. This is dumb.
Scott, don't buy one of these. You can't.
Oh,
buy
I'm
one
not
of these.
buying one.
Like you, like legally, I don't think you're allowed to buy one of these now. Just for that's where it went.
Yep.
You're not allowed. All right, so back to on a happier note. This actually is a happier note. Fender unveils a triple humbucker limited mahogany blacktop Stratocaster that looks gorgeous.
There's a lot of interesting things going on with this.
This is I want this guitar. Like if I wasn't having my Strat built by MJT, this would have been the guitar. Because I was actually debating not getting the Telly and getting the Strat, but then I was like, well, I'm already getting a Strat with a humbucker in the bridge. This thing looks gorgeous. It's got those black knobs.
The witch hat knobs.
The witch hat knobs. Thank you. And with it's gold
One of the
hardware.
few situations where gold hardware looks good.
It looks great on my Telly,
Yeah.
and it looks great on this.
I mean, but it's one of those things. It's like when gold hardware looks good, it looks really good.
gold on straight black. I'm not a fan of it. But this, because of the cream color, is this Olympic white?
It almost
Yes,
looks
Olympic
brass
white.
instead of gold.
Yes.
You know?
I think that's it. And also I think the color of the neck of the fingerboard, it's a rosewood fingerboard, but it's a mahogany. Let's see.
Pal Faro.
Is it rosewood fingerboard? Pal Faro. Okay. It looked rosewood, but it's a lighter color.
And it's still a maple neck, right? Okay, so it's mahogany body.
Yes, mahogany body, maple neck. Pal Faro.
So when I think of mahogany, I think of a Les Paul. And I think heavy. How much does this weigh?
I don't see a weight on it. Let's see. I don't see a weight.
Yeah, I'm going to Fender's site.
Okay, so I will say this though. The black headstock. I mean, it's a black top.
I'd rather have a
So-
matching headstock.
That's the only thing. This guitar needs a matching headstock, and it would be the perfect, like, triple humbucker guitar. I'd repaint that.
Is it not on their site yet?
No, it's not for release. I think no. Wait, I think this is Europe only.
What?
Yeah. Because it says it's able to be. Let's see. Let's
Maybe
go
if I go
on.
to I'm going to the UK version of Fender's site now. Oh, there it is.
I'm going. Was it on the UK
the UK version will link to it. If you click, I'm from the US, it will take you to the main page.
I know what I'm going. I know where I'm going.
It does not give a weight.
Oh, let's see. Let's see. Fender black top.
Oh, is that why it has to be black? on the headstock. It has to have the black top vibe.
Yes, that's the whole thing. It's blacktop. MAH. It's gonna be $711.
I mean,
believe.
there's nothing special about this neck, right?
All right, so
So if you swap the neck on this,
yes, swap the neck. I would just have it repainted. Let's see. Does it have a weight? I don't see
I can't
a weight.
find a weight on it. But like the
Well, probably because no one
USG
actually
isn't
has
heavy,
them.
is it? Yeah. So
No.
I mean, and that's mahogany body. So
It's not.
It just has to do with like
Yeah.
the sheer amount of wood that's in a Les Paul that makes it crazy heavy. Plus,
Yes.
maple's heavier than mahogany, isn't it?
What weighs more, 100 pounds of feathers, or 100 pounds of bowling balls?
Anyway, yeah, this is cool. I mean, I'm surprised a triple humbucker Strat seems like something that had already happened, but I can't find any
It might have.
of like in the past.
I don't think they've released any. I'm sure someone's done it and you've seen a picture of it, but it looks fantastic. Besides the headstock, which is now going to be like the blemish on my life. But Fender also, Squier launched the FSR Classic Vibe 50s Esquire guitar, which looks really cool. So Fender's been refreshing the Squier Classic Vibe line.
Wasn't it that
Yeah.
the vintage modifieds are going away? They're only going to have classic vibe from here on out.
I don't know.
I
Maybe.
think Jay was talking about that on Guitar Nerds a week or so ago.
Well,
Which
Which
he
is
works for
weird 'cause
Fender,
they
so you
haven't
should
the
know.
classic vibes. Weren't the classic vibes better sellers than or wasn't the modern players better sellers than the classic vibes? Or
I don't know.
No, classic vibes sold better. I think.
Generally, whenever someone's like, "Oh, I should buy a first guitar," everyone's like, "Classic vibe." Like
yeah,
that's like
what
the
it is.
default. Like, okay, pay a little bit more than the Infinity series, get one of these. I don't know. I have a vintage
Yeah.
modified J bass from Squire.
Maybe vintage modified's
Yeah.
the one that's really good. That's the one I think more people. That classic vibe gets a lot. Modern player, yeah, I don't think I hear about a lot.
Well, isn't the modern
But it's
player? Those are kind of a special run kind of a thing where they like. Wasn't that the Mexican Fenders? Was the modern player? Yeah.
Yes.
So those weren't Squires.
Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. Welcome to the effects loop, where I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's see.
Took them
Holy
56
crud.
episodes to realize this.
Have we really been talking for almost
Oh,
an
yeah.
hour? All right, so I guess we'll kind of move on to. You know what? Honestly, I think we should hit every single one of
Rapid
these
fire?
topics. Rapid fire. All right. At what point do you need a MIDI controller? Wrong answers only.
All right, this one's legitimate because I have 3 fave switches on my board right now.
Yes. Yes. I think that you should. I think the point at which you need a MIDI controller is whenever you're using more. You want to be able to change multiple pedals at one time, and that's your ultimate goal, is to get there. Like, I think if you change your sound drastically multiple times during your set that you do with either your band or like at church, I think a lot of people at church should use MIDI controllers because there's a lot that changes really suddenly and drastically. And I think that's a good point for a MIDI controller. And I also think you need a MIDI controller whenever you do a very tight scheduled show or performance. Like if you play the same songs and you're doing like a cover band and you want to change sounds rapidly throughout the night and it's a like very set performance, MIDI controller is the way to go. And a lot of the churches that use like tracks and stuff like that, where not a lot of things change, MIDI controllers the way
Yeah,
to go.
maybe I haven't done my taxes yet, so I need to figure out if I'm going to refund or not. So maybe if I am
Wow.
maybe if I am, some money will come out of that. But like, I also have 3 fave switches to sell then, so that will cover some of it.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, you should check out.
I'm liking that Morningstar.
um,
That's the one I'm eyeing it.
That's it. I absolutely love the Morningstar, and what would be great for you is using the loop expander from Decibel 11.
Morningstar makes one too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I can mount those
Well-
under my board then. Yeah.
Yep. If you ever, I have one, a loop expander.
Are you using it or with your
I'm not
Kemper
using-
stuff or?
No,
Mhm.
no, not using it at all. So if you're interested, I like to
Mhm.
trade and stuff. Let's move on to the next topic. Rapid fire. Bah. Who's your daddy and what
My
does he
dad's
do?
retired.
Okay, my dad's dead, so that was quick.
I do need to watch
what's
that
the-
movie again.
My
No.
dad's dead.
Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I was like, I didn't get the reference right away. It's not a
Who's your daddy
tumor.
and what does he do?
And what does he do? What's a magic combination that Fender has yet to put together?
Oh yeah.
Nope. You know what? I'm going to tell you this much. I think they did it with that Strat we just talked about, triple humbucker. I think that they knocked it out of the park there. Because that right there is a magic combination. And when you think of that setup, you think of a lot of the triple humbucker. You think of quite a few guitar players. Peter Frampton is probably the most popular of them, and not everyone wants a heavy Les Paul. So it'd be kind of cool to try to get that sound with that.
Troublemaker Telly with 3 pickups.
Oh, dang. I would be all over. If you do that in Pelham Blue, Fender, I will sell a child. I don't care. I'm calling someone in Cuba and seeing if they want a little white kid. Send them down. And I'm buying a Troublemaker with 3 humbuckers.
I think I just have gas for a new blue guitar. I think that's really what this is. Because like the Troublemaker Telly in that denim blue was amazing.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm still waiting for, what was the new offset body that came out? Was that the Meteora?
The one that's like a Telly.
That was,
offset.
but if you watch their like making of video, they had a blue one
Mm-hmm.
with a racing stripe and 2 humbuckers.
Ooh, you should get the Mike Campbell Duesenberg.
Duesenbergs are too much going on.
No, dude. I that's one guitar that I really want. I want a Duesenberg. I played one in Orlando and fell in love. It was the one that has like almost like the crocodile skin top, the black.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're bad guitars. They're good guitars. They're just too visually loud for me.
But the Mike Campbell's exactly what you just
I'm
kind of
digging it up.
described.
Mike Campbell, Duesenberg.
Yeah, it's blue with white racing stripes. I don't know if it's a sparkle blue.
No,
Mike-
it's
and
a
it's Mike
centered.
Campbell.
That's the Mustang centered style racing stripe though.
Oh, was this like
It's on the
this,
arm
like,
cut or
on the arm cut? That's it. Yeah. Okay. Didn't someone just make a Jazzmaster style like that in 60 Cycle Hum?
possibly.
I think. Yeah, there's one of them. All right, let's move on to the next one. Rapid fire. How much wood would Woodchuck chuck if Woodchuck
Answer
could
to
chuck
everything
wood?
in the universe. 42.
Okay. Why do I have earwax and no ear bees?
Because you make your own wax.
That's not even.
There's a Metal Zone joke in there, and I
the-
just can't figure it out. All right, next one's for Diaz. An angry rant about whatever John Oo did today.
You know what? He blocked me. so he's off living his life without me, and it makes me
Aw.
sad. Yeah, I miss you, John Oo.
No, you did.
Baby, come back.
No, you
Doo-doo-doo. You can blame it all on me. All right, we're called the effects loop, but we don't even use them. Well, I actually do use them, but Scott, you don't. and
No, I'm in
Chris
everything in
doesn't,
front of the amp
so.
guy.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, be a man, buy an amp with an effects loop, and just find out what the real world's about.
Yeah.
Dude, run that 5 cable method.
Ugh.
3 cable method, 4 cable method, however many cables it takes, make it happen. Let's see.
I think I'd probably.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm kind of Helix curious too, so I don't know which would happen first. Me getting a Kemper, so I have an FX loop,
okay.
or me getting Helix.
which you can still put an effects loop in the Helix. This is what I'll say, because I had the Stomp. The Helix has a better interface
Then the Stomp.
and no, I'm talking about then the Kemper. No, I'm going Helix, but my experience with Helix is based on the Stomp and a little bit with a Helix, but I've had more experience with the Kemper. Helix has a better interface on the computer. Also has a better interface on the actual system, but the Kemper is supposed to be coming out with their interface, their desktop program, where you can edit, and I think that that's going to be a game changer for it. That's why I picked up a remote, was because I'm kind of preparing for what's about to come. Because one of the cool things about the Kemper is the morph feature. So you can take and it changes the parameters and moves it to another preset pretty much. So like when I use Tone Junkies and
when you're using a
Tutorials
profile,
performances,
you can tweak the profile.
When you're using a performance, it can like increase your delay and reverb and gain at the same time. You can set a time for how long it'll take to do it, and you can morph back. So it kind of just shapes your sound. It's kind of like if you had like little fairies down at your pedals and changing the knobs to the settings you want to go to for a different section. One of the most common things they do is increase reverb and delay, like on the performances that I've purchased.
Like they do it slowly.
And yeah, and it's actually really cool because it's like a one of the things that I don't like being whenever I'm playing for my worship team is whenever an effect kicks on and it's extremely noticeable and it's during a time whenever you really want to be in the background, pastor's talking, or it's like the invitation for prayer, anything like that. You don't want to be a distraction. So this is really cool because it makes it
I got
seamless.
in trouble for that this week. We had an invitation to prayer moment, and apparently you could hear me tuning. I'm shocked my church was that quiet. Our HVAC must not have been running because we don't have that quiet of a church. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I've got one for you. T-Rex Replicator. It's a tape delay with actual tape.
Makes a lot of physical noise.
And I forgot. Well, no. I turned it off and turned it back on without running it enough to clear the delay that was still on it. So I did that in the middle, like right when the pastor was getting really deep before the invitation to prayer. Totally killed the mood. He just looked at me, and all I could say was, because I go to a small church, everyone could hear me say it. I was like, I started pointing at my son, said, "That was him," in the middle of it. It was great. Luckily I go to a very small church, so we're kind of like a family, and it's like everyone just
and when you're a smaller church, there's less like performance expectations versus like when you're in like 1,000-seat auditorium that's live streamed. It's a little different kind of a show. Yeah, you kind of want to put on a performance where we're just like having, not saying you guys aren't having church, but we're having like that good old Southern or having church, So, and you guys are not performing church. We're towing
I don't
the
like
line.
those words.
I mean,
we're talking about church.
It's definitely one of those things where, like, we have a lot of talks about it. And, like,
well, it's kind of
check
like
your heart, bro.
It's kind of like home video versus being on PBS. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, no, people are actually going to be watching this, so let's try not to look like we don't know what we're doing. Where we're like, we're just going to go in and do our thing. All right, so NAMM highlights. What was you actually went to Winter NAMM?
Yeah, it's like 3 months later. Now let's finally talk about it.
Yeah, all right, so let's do rapid fire top 5 things of Winter NAMM.
Top 5 things of Winter NAMM.
Yes. And we didn't even plan this, so this is going to be like
number 1, Cody Fields. Number 2,
Cody Fields.
Number 2, Curtis Lamberton. Number
he is a man.
Number 3, Pizza Party.
I want a pizza.
with
I'm
the
having
Tomahawk
pizza
folks.
for dinner.
Oh,
so
actually,
I'm good.
sorry, Cody. The real number 1 is the Taco Party. Lives up to the hype, other than the fact that you have to wait in line 2 hours to get tacos. But they're like the best tacos I've ever had
Is
in my
that
life.
Gabriel Tenario?
Yeah.
Is that Gabriel Tenario?
And like
Okay.
it was like Mason Stoops and Ariel Posen and like them put together a little jam band, and they
Oh wow.
did a like musical act, and it was amazing. Yeah, so other than like John Snyder groping me repeatedly at the party, it was a good time. So
No means no, John.
I've yet to get my my free stuff. So
That's a moment.
no, we were joking about it. It's
All
like,
right.
I waited in line for 2 hours or something. Like all I got was this T-shirt, and I was like, John Snyder groped me, and all I got was this T-shirt. Anyway, so yeah, those were definitely the highlights. Is like for me, the gear was okay. I've been to enough NAMMs that there's like I'm not overwhelmed by like what's new anymore. But like it's fun going to those places and seeing a lot of people, and the community behind it is a lot of fun when you're a little bit more on the inside. So
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just
Yep.
dying over here. Oh gosh. All right. So Was that
yeah,
5?
sure, why not?
taco pizza, Cody, Curtis.
Condo with
particular
Clifton, Co, Paul, RJ, good people.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. All right. If Chase Bliss or Strymon made an amp, what would it do?
I know this is kind of a thing of there was the Chase Bliss collab with Benson. Yeah,
On the preamp?
but what would a Chase Bliss amp be like?
Fender Cyber Twin. But better. I mean, it would sound a lot better, but it's a Fender Cyber Twin. You hit the buttons and the knobs all turn.
Yeah. And I think like that one had relay switching, so like the circuit physically changed. If I remember right, it wasn't
Yeah.
modeling; it was actually
also-
like physical circuits changing, which is part of the reason it was so stinking heavy.
And also the fact that it took like a second to actually
wow.
change. So it wasn't like instantaneous. So that kind of sucked.
All right,
I'm going to stop.
long and the
dying
short of
right
it,
now.
Joel, disrupt the amp game.
I want this to be a Kemper killer.
Yeah, could you imagine like a Kemper killer where it was still analog somehow?
Still analog, but all the knobs, like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
the
All right.
Benson Mark II thing that they're working on with Chase Bliss is such a cool design with the motorized faders.
Yeah, I
gonna be
want
so
that so
expensive.
bad. Yeah, it's gonna be like it's got to be $400,
It-
$300,
it's gonna be
$350. You think so?
Motorized faders are very expensive.
I'm sorry. Who you get your motorized faders from? I should introduce you to my motorized
you got a guy?
faders guy. Yeah, I got a guy.
Anyway,
Where are you getting your worms from, man? You're paying too
I
much
mean-
for worms. That's what I was going for.
maybe
you know
one
what?
day UNICEF will get into the
I want-
electronic fader business, but until now, we're the guys to see.
I feel like I should be the Creed Bratton of the podcast community. That's where I want to be in life. Just, I know what he's talking about. I sprout mung beans. I wonder if we can go more than one episode without mentioning The Office.
Not with Chris around.
All right, an apologetics lecture on the Gnostic
Get wrong.
Gospels.
Moving on.
But they are interesting. But don't take them as gospel.
Don't read them before you actually read the Bible. Moving on.
Yeah, that'd be a little confusing. Have you ever seen the movie the Last Temptation of Christ?
No.
It's great. It's got Harvey Keitel as Judas. It's got
Isn't it-
what's his name? Willem Dafoe as Jesus.
What? Okay. Is this on Netflix? I'm watching this
And it's
tonight.
directed it's directed by Martin
What?
Scorsese. Yeah, have you never
I've heard of this. I've just never known it's like this
Okay.
much. All these famous people involved.
Okay, so I'm without doing without spoilers. So pretty much what it is Jesus is going to die on the cross, and I don't want to. That's it. That's all I'm going to tell you. Jesus is going to die on a cross, and it differs from the Bible quite a bit. I think there might be a Gnostic gospel. I think it follows the Gospel of Mary, talking about Mary Magdalene. So if you know anything about that, congratulations for knowing.
Welcome, Westminster
about the Bible.
Effects Doxology podcast audience.
Hey, Cody.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Hey, Cody. You know what? Oh my gosh, I want to suggest that for one of his episodes.
That was
Gnostic
the joke.
Gospels.
I was stealing one of his topics. No.
Did he actually
No,
just
he
do that?
No, him and I were having a private conversation about it.
Oh, so you're having private conversations with
Yeah, I
Cody
slipped
Fields.
into
I see how it is.
DMs, you know.
Oh, yeah. All right, so...
Anyway, this actually,
let's
on this
see, now
topic,
it's-
do you ever see Stigmata?
Okay.
That's actually about a
Yes.
Gnostic gospel. The Gospel of Thomas
Which gospel
is
is
a
that?
Gnostic book.
Yeah, no, hold on. I'm trying to remember which ones I've read.
I mean, they're all available online. Just Google it. Don't believe it, but Google it.
Yeah. Please don't believe it. It's so wrong. All right, so now's the fun time. Thanks for joining us, guys. Check out the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/The Effects Loop. You can check out our YouTube. We don't have one of those cool URLs, so go subscribe. We get one of those cool URLs. Leave us a review on iTunes, on Spotify, or whatever.
There are
we're
reviews on Spotify.
Whatever you like.
I haven't
I don't
had
know.
Spotify in
I
a
don't
few
know.
years, so I don't know what's there.
The only time I download Spotify is if someone releases like an album and they're like, it's only on Spotify, and I'm like,
Are you Apple Music?
okay. No, I'm
Ah.
Amazon Prime. I'm Prime Music.
I haven't tried that out.
So,
I've had
are
Amazon
they-
Prime forever too. I should just try that out and stop paying Apple.
It might be cheaper for you to keep Apple. I can't
mean,
remember.
I
how much
already
pay.
have Amazon
No.
Prime though.
Oh yeah, I think in addition, it's like it might be like $4 or $5
Oh.
more a month, so it's cheaper than Apple. But all right, so you can also follow us on Instagram. I pretty much do all the Instagram stuff. So if you see people talking on the Instagram, that's me. You can email us at the effectsloop@gmail.com if you have any cool ideas. You can connect with us on LinkedIn.
I might have edited that script a little bit.
I saw it. I was like, you know what? I'm going for it. My motto in life is stick the landing. No matter what you do, just go with it and stick the landing. And then, really cool thing is awesome stuff. You can give us a, you can give a love offering. You can just go to patreon.com/The Effects Loop, and every month it'll just come out of your account, and we just keep getting your money, and it's really cool. And then you actually get to join cool stuff. We've got the chat room that you're able to join in. We've got a few of us in there. We talk about stuff. We actually have insider information that we give away now in there.
I'm just going to underscore the rest
And all
of this.
you have to do is give if you want to get. That's how it works. You give, you get. You live, you learn. I think that's a lyric to a song by Alanis Morissette, but that's okay. All right, I gotta. We can't do this anymore. I'm gonna struck by lightning. But once again, thank you, Scott, for joining us and providing our amazing background music. Come back and see us.
Thanks for having
See
me.
you guys. Bye, guys. Just let it fade in the background. That's nice. That's real nice.
This was fun.